Anyway, so my rant is done.
So, yeah, writing's always been something you've done as a pastime.
Yeah, so I've written fan fiction.
Yeah.
I've written short stories mostly. Why don't I focus on short stories?
Yeah.
That might actually help.
Yeah, you probably should do more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also another thing you do a lot, and that is read. You read more than anyone else I know.
Yeah, I've always got a book. I got a massive collection. I remember you complained about moving all of us girls' books.
This is the thing I'm going to go into. There was a summer where I moved. I helped 3 different groups of friends move into new places, in which all 3 places had a girl with them, and it was always the girls that had boxes and boxes of books, and these were fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh man, why?
Because books.
Yeah, and now I'm actually starting to see the magic in books.
Yeah.
Weird. But yeah, like, and now I've become an agent in adding to your collection.
Yeah.
I gave you a brick.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan got me the complete Revolutionary Girl Utena manga series, and that comes in 2 massive volumes.
Those things are fucking heavy. I remember, because I got it through Ty's Prime, and he's like, and when he gave it to me, he's like, this, fuck, Jesus.
I could kill someone.
It's like, yeah, whole. Yeah, and I also got you Les Miserables in anime form.
Yeah.
Manga form.
Yeah,
and
it's like 90s anime trying to be 2010s anime.
I actually really like it.
Yeah.
I really like the style they went with.
Yeah. And Ryan also got me some old copies of Red River because I hate that it's out of print.
Yeah. It's like me with Ippo. I can't find Ippo for the life of me.
Yeah. And, like, there's one volume 4, that's ridiculously expensive, and it's all because there's some major plot twists that happen that don't actually have a lot of payoff until, like, volume 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Red River, for those of you who don't know, because, you know, Les Miserables, one of the great literary classics of all time, especially in the French language, Revolutionary Girl Utena, foundational series of magical girl. Well, not foundational.
Shoujo manga.
Yeah, shoujo manga and
really a art house manga.
Yeah, like a real high watermark for those genres.
Yeah.
Like, so weird. It's a deconstruction of the entire magical girl genre and it's a big critique about gender and sexuality and all that. It's really, really deep. So a lot of people know about that one, but Red River, it's a, I would say it's one of the best, isekai series. And it's a historical work, too. Basically, it's about a 20th century girl, you know, late 90s, she's just starting high school, everything's going great for her, but then all of a sudden she gets sucked through a puddle and transported through time and space to the Hittite Empire during its height in the Bronze Age.
Gotta watch out for those time warp puddles.
Yeah.
They'll fucking get you.
Yeah, so...
you don't even know where you're gonna go next time.
Yeah.
I stepped in one once, I found myself in the Byzantine Empire. That was...
weird.
That was odd. They did not like me.
No. But yeah, like, I would say...
Who is this demon? They're like, oh, I'm not a demon, I'm just a ginger.
Well... the main character nearly gets sacrificed in the first volume.
Sacrifice.
But yeah, like, really, like, people complain about the overload of isekai, and it's all that, like, trapped in the video game or trapped in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
Is it, like, kind of dying off now?
It's starting to die off, especially with Kadokawa recently. Like, they usually hold a contest for light novels and manga.
Yeah, and they said...
and they're like, we're not accepting any trapped in video game world, alternate worlds forever?
definitely an indefinite
hiatus on that sort of subject.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be like that for at least 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for the...
Let a decade go by.
Yeah.
People's taste will change, hopefully. It'll get better.
And, the real genre that developed it was shoujo, because there were so many and so really good ones, like Escaflowne.
Yeah, I was about to say Escaflowne.
Yeah.
I've never actually fully watched Escaflowne, but I've read a lot about Escaflowne.
Yeah.
And I only hear praise for it.
Yeah, I hear that it's gonna get a re-release. So with, I don't think they're redubbing it. I think they're just giving a high def version of it.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. Yeah, so like Escaflowne, Inuyasha, even though it wasn't that.
It was kind of like
It's a really good popcorn one too.
Yeah, that was one we watched a lot of.
Well, it was like an intro gateway sort of anime.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like Naruto before Naruto in terms of reputation and how many people
Villain
cosplayed
of the week.
it. Yeah, Villain of the Week.
Arc of the month.
Arc of the month.
Filler arcs.
Kind of annoying characters, not the best dub ever.
And also, hey, we caught up to the manga. We're gonna run off into the sunset and not resolve the plot in any way, shape, or form. Okay, bye! Like, what?
Well, at least finally came back.
It came back. And
but they should have done what Full Metal Alchemist did and just split off from the manga and have their own conclusion. And then maybe come back.
Which can be a very dangerous thing because you could, it really depends on the writers at that point.
Yeah.
If they hold a snuff to that.
Yeah.
To the original writers. What helped Full Metal Alchemist in its original run was they had the creator of
Arakawa was involved.
Arakawa was a part of the team.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, here, write this. Do this.
Yeah,
here's an idea.
Here's an idea, or I approve of whatever you came up with. And
she had input on this.
Yeah, and I know the ending of the original anime was kind of controversial.
It got odd because
trapped in different.
Let's lay this out. So in the last 4 or 5 episodes, it's mainly a fight between Ed and Al versus
Dante,
who was Wrath, and Envy.
Yeah, and Envy turned out to be their long lost half brother.
Yeah, and
Dante was their dad's baby mama.
Yeah, and Ed he got it bad, super dead.
Yeah.
And also Rose was there. I forget was she there?
I think Dante wanted to sacrifice her baby.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah.
And Ed getting fucking murked snapped her out. She had I still remember that scream it was whoa.
That actress gave it.
Gave it right there.
Yeah.
And then Al fucking goes berserk for a while, and then he soul transfer, he sacrifices his soul to bring Ed back.
Basically, somehow Ed ends up in Weimar, Germany.
But yet, Ed comes back, wins the fight, or I think Dante took off and gets eaten by gluttony or something.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's a pretty good ending to that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dante.
Yeah.
And Ed does the reverse of he sacrifices his entire body, soul, and consciousness to bring Al back.
Yeah.
Fully Al back, his body, soul, and consciousness back to their world. Basically swap.
Yeah, it was basically a swap to wind up in Weimar, Germany.
In our world?
Yeah, it was 1920s Germany because the movie that
Conquerors of Shambhala, which makes this all make a bit more sense.
Yeah.
That was its conclusion.
Yeah, and it was set during the week of the beer hall pushed.
Yeah,
so we got a glimpse of young Hitler.
I didn't like how they used Mace in that.
Yeah, that was...
They made Mace a Nazi. You can't do that to Mace.
No, like, I understand why.
I understand why, but...
Yeah,
like,
and, like, it makes sense in context.
That's Mace, though.
Yeah.
Don't do Mace like that. Make fucking anyone else.
Yeah. If anything, Mace should be, like, freaking Max boxer. German boxer.
I think it might be
Schmeling. Yeah, Max Schmeling, because he protected a whole bunch of Jewish kids during Kristallnacht. Yeah, because he was famously beaten by...
it was,
Joe Louis?
I think it might have been... Yeah, I think it was Joe Louis. Louis beat him.
Yeah, because, like, the big point was, like, oh, yeah, this whole Aryan thing, and look at this black guy beating the shit out of the black Ulan.
Yeah. The fucking brown bomber annihilating
the black Ulan.
Yeah.
But they were friends afterwards.
Yeah, they were friends afterwards.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, me should have been, like, Max Schmeling and protecting people, like, the Rose clone, Noah.
Actually, he lost that fight to Max. He lost the first fight, but then won the second fight.
Yeah.
Both at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. To prove a point, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
That this whole Nazi Aryan thing is bunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But, yeah, like, that was a wacky end.
Yeah.
To the show. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. I still say the first show still has one of my favorite all-time favorite fights.
Yeah.
And that is Mustang versus Pride.
Yeah, the
against the Fuhrer.
Yeah, when the Fuhrer was Pride instead of his kid.
Instead of him actually being who he was supposed to be in Wrath.
Yeah, and honestly, the Wrath
is a better character.
Yeah.
Because of
the backstory.
The backstory was really well done.
Yeah,
that he was hand-chosen homunculi.
Yeah, like, raised to be a homunculi.
He was raised to be the Fuhrer.
Yeah.
Which is really neat.
Yeah, that was great. That was a fantastic idea.
But, like, the Fuhrer in the first show is still really fucking good.
Yeah, because, like, you don't see it coming.
Because Fuhrer Bradley, he's
kind of a goofball.
He's kind of goofball, and then you see that he is...
Yeah, you slowly start to see the menace
the pride he had.
Yeah. Like, because of how long the series has existed and how many people have read the manga, when the Brotherhood came out, like, we know the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it coming, who he is.
So when it happened in the first show, it was like, wait, you're Pride? What?
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa, and just a lot more stuff is going on.
Yeah.
And just the build up to that fight, and like the entire building's on fire.
Yeah, like how brutal that fight was.
Like Mustang loses the glove, so he has to like use his own blood to make the alchemist circle.
Yeah, the transmutation
circle.
Yeah.
And everything, using the skull. It's like, oh, what a fucking great visual. That whole fight's amazing. And, like, I especially liked how, like, while I still find in Brotherhood how they used Mustang when he got pushed over the limit, that's the most interesting, like, deconstruction of a character I've ever seen.
That is one of the best example of what you are in the dark.
Because we saw Mustang for such a long time being this calm, cool, collected character, and then he finds out how Mace died, and who killed Mace,
and how it happened,
how
and
it drove him over the edge.
Yeah, we finally see like how truly dangerous,
how horrifying an alchemist can be.
And you know what? We got a bit of a taste of that from the fight with Lust.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just like a sampler of just what your appetite for that future fight.
Did Mustang have the most homunculi kills? I feel like he might have.
He had 2 for sure.
He has 2 confirmed homunculi kills, though Envy's is a little bit up in the air because Envy does it himself in the end out of regret.
Yeah.
But, still, I guess we can give that to him.
Yeah. Basically driving Envy to
Scar
suicide.
kills, Bradley.
Yeah. Which is fitting.
Yeah. Who killed, because, Pride's not killed.
He reverts to, like, baby.
Yeah.
Selim.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Bradley decides to raise him.
And hopefully
make sure
fix him.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think Greed sacrifices himself.
Yeah, Greed's the best.
Yeah,
Greed's the best in that show.
Yeah.
Him and Ling, their banter, everything is
especially
the
when
best.
they changed the voice actors too for Greed.
Oh, it's great.
God, that second guy was amazing.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we didn't get enough Greed in the first show. Like,
yeah,
he got
they killed
handled.
him off.
They killed him off
quickly.
like within 2 episodes of him being introduced.
Yeah. And he was so much more, like, he had the best power of the whole, like, basically
he's
carbon skin. Yeah, he's basically indestructible.
And, Gluttony, what happened to him?
He got blown up at one point, so he just turned into a giant stomach, like...
Yeah, I think he ate himself?
Or he was eaten... No, he was eaten by Pride.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, because Pride needed some energy, and he's like, well, I don't care about anyone other
I don't
than
need
me.
you.
Yeah. So...
You're kind of a one-way ticket, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. How did... Slav got the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah, it was just, like, continually being beaten...
Until he finally just dropped.
Yeah.
Who's left? Pride, Wrath, Envy, Lust, Greed, and... Did I say Envy? No, Gluttony.
Wrath.
Wrath.
Wrath was Bradley, and he...
Yeah, and Scar take...
Yeah.
That was the fight of Brotherhood. Was
yeah.
Man, Bradley's gone 2 for 2.
Yeah!
God, what a fucking compelling character.
Yeah.
Just... You wanted to see him get got, but you were like...
You're
so evil, but...
Yeah.
Yeah!
And then, out of the 2 really big bads of both series, Father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father's much better
because
than Dante.
He had way better ambition.
And he's established from, like, the halfway point, at least.
Yeah.
And
like,
you know his goal.
Yeah, is to become a god. And, like, that on paper sounds kind of lame, but when you think about it,
like in the steps he was taking, the lengths he was willing to go to sacrifice
an entire country,
millions of people.
Yeah.
To achieve Father's ambition is so grand. It's just like
it's getting cosmic scale.
Yeah.
It is cosmic scale.
And it's getting beat down by a kid who's like 5 foot nothing.
He grows a little taller.
Which I also really like about Brotherhood, because you actually do see the characters actually grow.
Yeah.
Actually get, like, age.
Yeah. They change. They change appearance. That's something rarely seen in any
and
animated
it's subtle. You don't notice it until it's, like...
pointed out.
Yeah. Like, Ed's actually taller than Win.
Yeah, and he's wearing his hair a little differently.
Yeah, it's a bit longer, actually.
Yeah. And there was at one point when it was just a ponytail, just like his dad. And
yeah.
He quickly, like, braids it up, but... Yeah, I really liked all the little subtleties. I did watch Mother's Basement recent episode about how they handled the Night the Chimeras Cry episode, and... Yeah, the first anime did it better.
Oh, it does it so much better.
Yeah.
It does it so much better.
Yeah. I would say...
Also, bringing back Tucker, I was just like, no.
No.
You're dead.
Yeah. It doesn't take the surprise.
It takes away from the
original. Yeah.
Because how Shao Tucker was handled in the original is just so perfect.
Yeah. Like, I almost get the feeling that the creators were like, we can never beat those 2 episodes.
We gotta try and do something different, and it's just like, the only way to try is to not.
Yeah.
Because those 2 episodes are almost the perfect
horror episodes.
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes
of anime.
Yeah. Because the build-up is perfect, the execution is perfect.
Everything about those episodes was perfect.
Yeah.
In the original anime. Like, that's the only thing I can actually concede to the original anime.
Yeah. So I would say
it.
to anybody who wants to watch Full Metal Alchemist, watch the first...
I'd say watch them both.
Yeah, watch them both.
Watch them both in full.
Yeah.
Watch the original first.
Yeah.
And then watch Brotherhood. And
you know what? Give Conquest of Shambhala a try.
Yeah, I think it's almost required viewing.
Yeah. But, like, so many people drag it, and I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
I think it's alright. Yeah. It's an alright ending. It's
a solid ending.
It makes sense, and at the end, well, I wouldn't say it makes sense because of the ending of the original Full Metal Alchemist. It got fucking loopy as shit.
Yeah.
And, but in the end, they make it work.
Yeah.
They make this 2-world thing work. And I felt bad for Winry, because she lost her brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that was sad,
I was like, oh, poor Winry.
Yeah, and I like that they were kind of gutsy with the setting choices, too.
Yeah. Fucking saying, like, Nazi Germany.
Well,
pre-Nazi Germany.
Yeah, Germany. Weimar Germany.
But, like, you could definitely tell, like, the seeds are being planted.
Yeah, like, you get where this anger is coming from. Yeah. It's completely misdirected.
But it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, Full Metal Alchemist, watch both. Give Shambhala a try. You can totally skip that other movie.
Sacred Star and Milos is not required viewing because it's pointless.
It was, like, based on one of the video games.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think, just pretend it doesn't exist.
You don't need to watch it. It is not important.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing I can say the only bad thing from Full Metal Alchemist. Other than that, it's pretty much perfect. It's pretty much a perfect series. Wow, we talked a lot about Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, well, there's so much to talk about with that series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else is Arakawa working on? Heroic Legends of Arslan. Because that's actually a continuation, or at least a reboot of an older series. Mm-hmm. And it's the most popular anime in Iran, because it's based off an Iranian story. And when they are willing to bear their terrible bandwidth to download the entire series.
Those brave Iranians.
Yeah.
Do what they love.
Yeah.
So, I want to go back to you and your reading.
Okay, me and my reading, because we went on that humongous tangent.
Yeah. This is what I was looking for in one-on-one. It's just big tangents about stuff.
What am I reading, or?
No, when did you start reading?
Okay, that's a bit of a complicated one.
Yeah.
Because, unlike many a person who claims to be a lifelong reader, or, the usual, I would say, booktuber crowd, I had issues with reading. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I was a weird kid because, on the one hand, I wouldn't say gifted, but I was definitely, like, intellectually ahead of my peer group in, like, the early levels of elementary. But, for whatever reason, I was kind of physically behind.
Yeah, something
with, like, my speech and my writing.
Holding you back.
Yeah, like,
your mind was so far ahead, your body couldn't catch up with
it. So, like, imagine, being able to comprehend information at, like, a 7th grader level, but you're in kindergarten.
Yeah, I've honestly felt like I was in almost the same boat. Yeah. And I felt it almost my entire, like, high school, entire school life.
Like, for whatever reason, you couldn't articulate.
I couldn't articulate my thoughts.
Yeah. It's like the language didn't exist for me.
It's like, I know it exists. It's there. I just can't get what's in here to there.
Yeah, onto the paper.
'Cause, like... Or what's happening in my brain is fucking Play-Doh level shit, but what's happening outside is Jenga.
Or, like, it was the level that was expected at the time. Like, I remember I was helping you out with some history homework, and I just so happened to be taking a class about Italian history. And you guys were at World War II, and I'm like, oh, we're talking about Benito Mussolini. Do you want to read my notes?
Yes.
And I helped you come up with some fairly detailed answers, and I think you got into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah. But
it's like, how do you know? This is like,
my sister was talking about it.
Secondhand knowledge, but also like, I
It's
come
not
from a
expected.
family of 2 history majors.
History
Of course
nerds.
I fucking know that. Of course I pick up shit.
Yeah. We used to watch the History Channel all the time when it was good.
Yeah.
I miss the days when it was the Hitler Channel.
Yeah.
Because that was
That's a damn
actually...
shame.
Yeah. The fact that you missed when they did
How many
nothing
Hitler documentaries are we having this month? Oh, plenty.
Yeah.
Well, at least you were learning stuff.
Yeah.
Learning about why this person was a horrible human being.
Horrible piece of shit.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But also, look at the other things that Nazi Germany was doing in the advancement of science.
Yeah, we're kind of uncomfortable with that.
It's like, man, you guys did some fucking awful shit, but we're gonna take your notes.
Yeah.
Because that shit's
like the stuff
useful.
about like hypothermia.
Yeah.
No
And-
ethics, just all
and
the ethics thrown out.
rockets, shit. Like,
Yeah.
within 5 years of the end of the war, they had jet fighters.
Yeah.
The Russians and the Americans had pretty top of the line fighters for 1950 with
Yeah.
the the MiG 16 and the MiG 15
Yeah.
and the F-86 Sabre. Like, those were 2 high, like, very high grade for their time.
Yeah.
And that was like 5 years ago. They were flying piston engine planes.
Yeah.
That was the regular. You would never see
Yeah.
a jet plane outside
And
of the
then they got-
ME-262,
Yeah.
which came in way too late in the war, like late 44.
Yeah, it was, you can't use it at that point. And then the Germans have got the frickin' V2.
The V2 rocket and like
some prototypical jet
engineering and
Yeah.
such. And it's like they were like
if the heroes of Telemark hadn't blown up that power plant in Norway that was developing the heavy water, they would have had the bomb.
Yeah. Like, it's incredible in the scientific field of Germany at the time.
German engineering.
Precision German engineering. And it's like, it's neat to look at it in that context of its science.
But you still have to remember
you
how
have to
fucking
remember
evil.
where it came from.
Yeah.
And who was funding that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was dirty money. Dirty money
The
of
one
the worst
good
degree.
thing. The one good thing is that all those departments were fighting each other all the fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were like, the whole rats at each other because Hitler was paranoid about any one group gaining too much power.
Yeah.
Like the Postal Service apparently had its own nuclear weapons development going on.
God. Just have a fucking ingot of uranium delivered to your door.
Yeah. So this is another reason why we should have a history podcast. Just us talking about. Yeah, that would be the format. Just like us being super chill, talking about some history topic.
Exactly, yeah.
You do some research, I do some research.
Come with our topics.
Yeah.
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 So back to what we were talking about originally.
Reading.
Reading and how we couldn't articulate our thoughts.
Our thoughts. Yeah, so I had to be in the special programs that help me with my reading, so they get me reading like simple books and all that, and I went to speech therapy and all
Because
that.
I remember those things vividly. Like, I remember Mom and Dad talking about it. And I was like,
you were probably dragged along a few
yeah,
times.
I was dragged along, and I was like,
And Joanne, she was my therapist, and
Yeah.
I remember she gave me Pokemon cards at the end of the sessions.
yeah.
That was right when Pokemon was becoming really popular.
Well, I think it was still riding the wave of popularity.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, this was like the 2000s at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah.
So this would have been like maybe near the end point
of the second gen.
The second gen, third gen was coming.
Yeah, like it hadn't debuted.
This was about like 2002, 2003. I'd say.
Because I was in grade 2 when I was doing all that.
I was kindergarten.
Yeah.
By that point.
Yeah, because neither of us did preschool.
Yeah, no.
Because at the time, preschool was privately run and really expensive.
Yeah, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, you just go in.
Yeah. I'm saying this to all of the younger listeners.
Yeah, and also listeners who have children. I know a few who actually do listen to this and have children of their own.
Yeah.
So.
And, yeah. Yeah, so, I went through all that, then sometime around grade 5, 6, something clicked.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, my brain finally got to a point where, like, my brain and my body are at the right point.
The line tangents have finally met.
Yeah. And it also helped that I discovered the wonderful Canadian historical fiction series, Dear Canada. It's still ongoing. So, it's basically like a series of diaries set at different points throughout history. And very interesting topics, too. Like, there's one about a girl who is a fille de roi. One of the... Basically, going on another history tangent.
Yes.
So, back during the early colonization of New France, now Quebec, there was a very big problem where there was more dudes than women there. So the French government under Louis XIV, because Louis XIV had a hand in everything, I could go on a completely different tangent about what he was involved with. But anyway, he wanted more, like, formalized settlement. Like, there was a lot of guys who were in New France just there for the fur trade because it was super lucrative at the time. But he's like, I want actual farmers and people who are going to build cities and a society over there. So what he did was he passed a law that said that you can only work in the fur trade if you're married and you're having kids. So they're like, but we don't have a lot of chicks. The only other chicks are like either English and they're the crazy Puritans down in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Nobody wants them.
Nope.
Or native chicks. And we're fine with the native chicks. But...
Though that leads to some dark connotations.
Yeah. So, Louis XIV orders a whole bunch of women to be shipped over. And no, there is a misconception that it was like the local prostitutes or whatever. But no, they made sure that they were mostly country girls who are used to hard work. They're in really good health. If their family didn't provide a dowry, then the king himself provided a dowry in a trousseau, which is like you're setting up sort of stuff. So, like, you got clothes, you got some household items, you got linens to be able to set up a household. Like, have a proper household. Send them over to Quebec. Guys would marry these girls almost as soon as they were off the boat and setting up farms, having kids. And pretty much most of the Quebec families who can trace their lineage back to those early settlers have at least a few filles de roi in their family. Yeah. So that was a really cool story. There was one that was set during the Battle of the Plains of Abraham. And the whole siege leading up to it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a recent book that came out in this series that's written about a girl in a residential school in the 60s. And the woman who wrote it also went through the residential school system. Like, how the covers are set up is you'll have, like, a background historical picture, and then you'll have, like, a cameo picture of a rough estimation of what the main character looks like.
Yeah.
And for that particular book, the author used a picture of herself from when she was that age. And I'm like, my heart. Like, it hurts looking at this.
And it, like, to go on a bit of a little bit of a tangent about it, like, it's especially important for us
in
here
Canada.
in Canada to learn about specifically the Native American history here.
Yeah.
Because, our government did some fucked up things.
Yeah.
Like, America had a much different approach of constant wars and just outright murder.
Yeah, and they did have their own residential school
stuff
going on, but it's like they ignore and forget about that.
They almost never address it. And
yeah, like it's rare to see any Native representation in U.S. media.
And it's
like once in a while it'll be token, and most of those natives are played by Canadian Native actors. Like I remember watching.
How many characters are played by Adam Beach?
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up because he was in freaking Law and Order SVU for a couple seasons.
I think it was like 1 or 2 seasons he was in, and that was kind of a mess.
Yeah, because they try to make him Abenaki and all over the place, so poorly written.
I think he was supposed to have some sort of connection to the spiritual world or something.
God,
I was like,
it was bad.
That's bad. That's really
bad. Like there's series like Longmire and the Navajo Mysteries where it's the actors, like the characters are mostly native. Especially in the Navajo Mystery Series, which also had Adam Beach in it. Yeah. Playing a Navajo guy, even though he's
which wasn't his first time playing a Navajo character. If you remember the Nicolas Cage movie, Wind Talkers.
Oh, yeah!
About Native American men in the Pacific War.
Yeah,
who were code talkers.
Yeah, because Navajo at that point wasn't written down.
Well,
or it was kind of
it was mostly to count for so the Japanese couldn't decipher.
Yeah, because they didn't
have a tongue for it.
Yeah, they didn't have any sort of knowledge
whatsoever of Native American
I think the big thing was that the Germans had sent anthropologists over to the U.S. partially to try and get them to. Oh, the Germans and their whole
Germans.
They were like, you're like us, and we shall free you from your white suppressors, and they just all right through
boy, you're white,
super white.
You are them. You made them.
You're worse than them.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What is you doing? But, that movie's actually really terrible. That's a terrible movie. That movie misrepresents it. Yeah. Misrepresents
and then
Native
Adam
Americans,
Beach was also in Flags Over Flowers.
Which is the redemption movie. Yeah. Because his character...
Ira Hayes.
He played Ira Hayes.
And, oh god, that is a tragic story.
It's awful.
Like, it's...
Not only does it represent, like, almost every shell-shocked veteran
especially from that era when you did not go and seek any help.
Yeah. And if you did, you were generally ostracized.
Yeah, like, Patrick Stewart did an interview talking about his dad, because his dad was he was part of the Paras during World War II. Like, he was with the British forces.
Yeah.
And his dad suffered from some really bad PTSD that led to domestic violence all the time. And he learned about it, and he's now become a great advocate for, people with PTSD to go and seek help and to help destigmatize, especially for veterans, because there's still a bit of a culture
there is, and not only for veterans, like anyone who suffers it in any form.
Yeah, because we have a really bad suck it up culture.
Yeah, that needs to go.
Yeah.
But Adam Beach has been like the go-to guy.
But he deserves better. Like
he does.
Yeah, like Suicide Squad was the worst movie he could have been in, because they totally wasted that character.
Yeah, fuck.
And then, remember the controversy over Fantastic Beasts and the still ongoing controversy over that one?
We've had many a discussion about that.
Oh, you've been talking about the whole Johnny Depp situation?
Well, I mean, like, between us and, like...
Yeah, when they first came out with it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Native American school, magic school. And I'm like,
boarding school.
What are you doing digging this hole? You can't dig here.
And
there's a power line.
And it got worse because JK released that whole history of magic in North America, and it was only about the States. Mexico got a footnote. There was no mention of Canada or the Caribbean or the rest of Central America.
Like, it's almost like they don't exist.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's in short essay format, so she could never do justice for, like, actual native cultures and all the different European groups who came to North America who would have brought their own magical traditions, because I am guessing that magic in Germany and Poland and Scandinavia is going to be very different from British magic.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
Hell, even just like Spanish magic is probably a little
Yeah, like
different.
I was thinking that there would be several schools across the United
Spanish
States.
and
Like
Portuguese magic.
yeah, like I was thinking recently that why wouldn't the Spanish back in the 1500s set up some magic school in what's now California? They had missions there.
Or at least Baja, California.
Yeah, at least Baja, California, and probably one over in what's now, Santa Fe?
Yeah.
Or at least somewhere in Texas. The Texas settlers probably set up their own school because they're fucking Texas.
It's a big school.
Yeah, and why not in...
It's actually in the Alamo, that's why it's not right. Got destroyed.
It's all an illusion.
I still love that, like, scene from, what was it, Mr. Bean, I think. And he's, like, knocked down. I was like, what's your name, son? I was like, I don't know. I don't remember. What do you remember? I remember the Alamo. And it's just like a bunch of colors, like, yeah!
But,
Woo!
But yeah, going back to J.K. Rowling, that entire mess, like, what she needed to do, I get the sense sometimes that she's under a lot of pressure because she's basically become a glorified screenwriter for Warner Brothers. And what she should have done is be like, hey, let's write a textbook, and I'll get, like, all these First Nation writers and Black writers and Latino writers and...
Get all the warriors.
Actual, like, American, Canadian, Mexican, Caribbean writers together, and we'll write articles for this textbook that's about as thick as, like, a university textbook.
It's like the Silmarillion of North American magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sets up everything you need to know. And it includes, like, a chapter or a couple chapters about Canada, a few chapters about Mexico, a few chapters about Cuba. Like, how did the Cuban wizarding community handle Castro?
Aztec magic.
Yeah, Aztec magic, Mayan magic.
Lost civilization magic.
Olympic magic.
Yeah.
Or the Pueblan people. Or, like, what about the Haida people? The Inuit up north and their interactions with the Vikings. Like,
there's a lot that could have been done that was not done due to poor research and British ambition. And
also short essay format.
Yeah.
Because no one was going to be happy with it.
No one.
Like, okay, there are the diehards who are always going to be like, but J.K. Rowling wrote this, so it's great.
Swear to their grave.
Yeah.
And swear to me!
It's like, no, it's not. And then the movie was set in Harlem in the 1920s, and that's a mostly black community in New York.
Where's all these... Why is there so many white people?
Like, I know that there wasn't as big a black population as there is now, but it was, like, not
It's not like they didn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not like they weren't invented before then. What?
Yeah, and...
I always look back to that scene in Psych, I believe, and they're like... And they're at, like, a play, it's like, and they're like, yeah, this play kind of feels too white. It's like, what? It's in 17th century, 18th century London. It's like, so what? Black people haven't been invented then? Yeah.
Like, the Dark Lady might have been black. We're not 100% sure, but there were black people in...
They've been around. There
have been black people in England since the Roman times. Because, the thing about empires is that people get moved around a lot.
They do.
Yeah. Like, did you know that there are Indian people in Kenya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cousin Peters talked about Indian people in South Africa, but that was not exactly in the brightest terms.
Yeah, and, Cousin Turk, his family was there were a certain sect of Ismaili Muslims from India who settled in Uganda first, but then Idi Amin happened, so they went over to Kenya.
Yeah! Good call there!
Yeah!
Good call there!
And now they're in Canada.
Good. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. But, yeah, like... And then the Grindelwald reveal and, the drama about frickin' Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp just needs to go away for a while and deal with his alcoholism. I wrote in a Tumblr.
To deal
with
a lot of stuff.
I wrote in a Tumblr post, like, there was some Stand By Your Man shit that J.K. Rowling and David Yates wrote after the controversy broke, and I'm like, I bet by late summer they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, Johnny had to leave due to health reasons. Yeah. Cough, cough, his boozing got the worst of him, so he's going to rehab for a bit.
Yeah.
We have to do a recast. Hopefully they get Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Because when I heard about the casting, I was more angry that they didn't cast, like, a German actor. They're usually great about finding, like, not really well-known actors for these Harry Potter movies. But then they go with Johnny Depp, who, yeah, he has some cachet, but not the cachet that... Yeah. Well, they were banking... I get the feeling that there was some pre-existing contract that Warner Brothers and Disney, too, with the whole pirate situation, couldn't really back out of at the time, and they're just looking for an excuse now, because he's kind of, like... I don't want to say he's nuclear... He's, like, uranium for them, but he's definitely kind of... He's like that old piece of fruit that's still kind of good, but is starting to smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, I was hoping to hear about, oh, they're now going to the American Southwest after, spoilers, new releases that Thunderbird, and then, I don't know, some Indiana Jones style shenanigans involving a mostly POC cast and Eddie Redmayne. That would be a good way to have, like, Adam Beach play another Native American character. Like a native wizard or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what it's looking up to be. It's the Crimes of Grindelwald. And they're not setting this in Weimar, Germany. Why are you not setting this in Weimar, Germany?
We don't feel like it.
But topical.
No, we don't feel like it.
But cabarets.
Nah. I
want to see their own take of the MC from Cabaret.
That won't make money.
I want to see the wizarding version of Two Ladies.
Yeah.
But no. And they're probably gonna, in a very uninspired move, he's gonna be a lot like Voldemort. And I'm like, I don't want to see another Voldemort clone.
No, but...
That's how they'll go.
You want that you want that Voldemort clone, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, because you Dark Lord fans can't get enough of the Slytherin aesthetic of lounging on the couches and pretending to be evil while swirling your glass of Chianti.
I want to throw my bone at them.
I know.
They'll cry. I know it.
They're the former Sasuke fans.
Then I throw them in a locker.
For those of you who don't know, Ryan's kind of the jock of the group.
Yeah, within our friend group, I would fit the hell for
you're the athlete.
I'm the athlete. I fucking
you played football.
First day of this last semester of Animathon, I posted a picture on the Facebook group, and it was of a nerd getting shoved into a locker, and it's like, nerd who watches anime, and he's like, oh no, and then me who also watches anime, and it's just like shoving them in the locker.
Oh man, I could easily imagine you in a Letterman jacket back in the day.
I thought about getting one.
Get a Letterman jacket.
I would. So back to when it started clicking for you.
So Dear Canada happened. I started reading the Harry Potter books on my own, like everybody else was at the time. That was about, at the same time that book 4, Goblet of Fire, came out.
Yeah.
And I think I mostly read that on my own. Mom also read it to us, but I was also, taking it and reading it. And then somewhere around grade 7, my reading level just exploded, and I read my first grown-up book.
Mm.
It was a novelized biography of a Ottoman princess. She would have been like the granddaughter of not Mehmed VI. I cannot remember who came before Mehmed VI. I need to actually read a lot more about the Ottoman Empire because that is some fascinating history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, that was a grown-up book for me. Like, this was a novelized biography that came with footnotes explaining, like, what certain titles were, what certain people were, what was going on. I got most of it, actually, because it was set, like, during World War I and, in the years afterwards and into World War II. So I got most of it, and then I really skipped over the whole young adult thing in general. Like, I don't remember... I remember when Twilight came out, and I was so apathetic towards it. I wasn't even in the, like, I hate Twilight group. I only came to despise it after I learned about what happens in the book, and I'm like, how can you enjoy this? She is, like, the most boring protagonist ever, and you got this stupid conflict between vampires and werewolves, and God, that trope is so overplayed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I remember in grade 10, instead of reading Twilight when it was still kind of hipstery to read Twilight, when I could say I read Twilight before it was popular, I was reading Shogun.
That's a good option there.
Yeah. There's actually a really good miniseries based off it, and Toshiro Mifune plays one of the main characters.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's from, like, the 80s. I don't know how easy it is to seek it out. It might be, yeah. But yeah, like, I read Shogun. I remember reading War and Peace in grade 11. I remember hitting Colton over the head with my copy of it because he made a stupid comment. It was thankfully, like, a paperback copy, but he was a little stunned. Yeah, yeah, I did read some young adult novels or books that would be considered young adult novels, but they weren't, like, ever the really popular stuff. I never read the popular young adult books. I had a V.C. Andrews phase, and I had a big collection of V.C. Andrews. It's mostly been given away to Value Village. So, like, V.C. Andrews was sort of like Twilight before Twilight in terms of controversy about it, because it involved sibling incest.
Gross.
Yeah, lots of sibling
like
incest, yeah. There's a reason why Ryan and I couldn't watch Game of Thrones together.
No.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I just skipped over young adult, went straight to literary fiction. Like, I don't even read a lot of fantasy and science fiction. Like, I like the genres in principle, but I don't know. None of the books ever really seemed to grab me, and a lot of the stories seem rather samey to me. Mm-hmm. Now, you're going to get into Isaac Asimov, hopefully soon. So, you might be able to tell me otherwise. Yeah. And, like, I know that there's some pretty radical fantasy and science fiction out there.
Yeah. Just gotta go find it.
Yeah. Maybe you should check out Ursula K. Le Guin. She did Earthsea.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Amongst many other things. She is a very prolific writer. But yeah, like, I got into, espionage novels.
Yeah.
Which sort of, like, my thing because there's usually a lot of research, a lot of action. I like stuff set mostly in the 20th century. Again, World War II seems to... Because there's so much stuff going on.
There's a lot going on over the course of, 7 years.
Even before that, you could almost say the entire period from World War One
that entire to 30-year period.
Yeah, it's just it's
whackness.
Yeah. Because, the wars never really stopped.
They just got smaller, and then there was a big one. And then they got a little smaller, and then there was another moderate-sized one. And then it was just kind of a constant state of war.
Yeah.
War, and then heavily publicized Vietnam War.
And then Afghanistan being a...
Russian Afghanistan. And then...
all that peacekeeping.
Then good old Middle East kind of blows up because the U.S. can just not stop.
Or the Western world just cannot stay out.
They can't stop.
Yeah, they can't
stop. They just can't stop.
This is really crusade number...
we're in the modern day crusades when we really think about it.
Yeah, because we go in for dumb reasons.
Hey, oil.
We're gonna say it's for democracy, but...
Oil.
Yeah, it's oil.
Oil.
Even though the U.S. really has enough oil for itself, they don't really need anybody else.
They don't need more, but they need more, though.
Yeah, because they're greedy motherfuckers.
Hey, Saudi princes. And also, we'll just have the CIA just give money to these insurgents.
On the DL.
On the DL. Oh, it's Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. Here's America's biggest problem. They are fantastic.
They make their own enemies.
Yeah. They make their own monsters, and they don't realize it.
It's this will work out in the end. First, I'm not sure about that, man.
Yeah.
Because you've seen the Tumblr post of Afghanistan and Iraq and all that in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
They weren't that great in real life.
They weren't that great in real life, but you can see that it was definitely a different kind of culture.
Yeah, a lot more chill. They were doing their own thing. Especially Iran. We should have... U.S. and Britain should have never interfered back in the 50s.
Talk to Iran.
Iran is fine. They're actually really great allies.
They're really great, and they turn their back on them.
Yeah, because we screwed them over. Over oil, because they just wanted to nationalize a few companies. I'm giving the simplified history, but basically...
It's layman's history here,
yeah. But again, another reason why we should do that history podcast.
Yeah, this is just further... Yeah.
Yeah.
We can just look into all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the U.S. kind of likes to fuck up a lot.
So, anyway, that...
Reading.
Yeah, reading. Get back to reading! So it's mostly been early 20th century stuff. I'm reading this one book. I'm nearly finished it. It's called... And Quiet Follows the Dawn. It's written by this Russian dude, Mikhail Sholokhov, who at one time was the number 2 to Stalin.
Fun.
Yeah. He actually won a Nobel Prize for the sequel to this book, so I'm going to seek that one out. And basically it's about, he's originally from, I should use the past tense here because he died back in 85, but he was originally from this region in southern Russia just before the Caucasus called the Don region, because that's the main river that flows through there. And it's Cossack country, basically.
Yeah.
So he was born, where's his biography? He was born in 1905, educated in Moscow, comes back to the Don region in 1920 to work as a school teacher, and he's there during the frickin' Russian Civil War, and sees all of that going on, and it inspired him to write this book, and Quiet Flows the Dawn, about everything, and it's surprisingly impartial for both sides of the conflict. He does, when he injects the whole Marxist dialectic stuff in there, it's pretty ham-fisted, but I think, too, it's kind of the translation I have, because this is an older edition from, when was this one published? I got it off of frickin' Amazon. The most recent publication date on this book was 1988, so Yeah.
Good luck finding the other one.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a recent translation at one of the chapters in Ottawa, so I'm guessing the Penguin has released a new edition. So we'll see what's available, and once I'm done that one, I brought this Jane Austen book called Love and Friendship and Other Youthful Writings, and it's just a collection of her early unpublished works, and some of her letters, and this one unfinished novel called Lady Susan, which is sort of like her take on this French novel called, people might have actually heard of this one, Dangerous Liaisons, because it was, some Hollywood executive got the bright idea. It was about the same time that movies like 10 Things I Hate About You came out, where it's like, oh, let's adapt all of these classic literature for the teen audience.
Yeah.
So, Dangerous Liaison got turned into... Oh, I just remembered what the movie was called. What was it called? It was, I have to look it up now. Because it was a dumb movie. People thought it was super edgy and deep at the time. It was a pretty shallow adaptation, really. Dangerous Liaison. 1988 film. Based off La Liaison des Jours. That's stage, opera, ballet, film. Cruel Intentions. That line. Having read the book, I can say that the book and the movie with John Malkovich and Glenn Close is infinitely better.
Oh, so it's a better movie?
Yeah.
Being John Malkovich,
yeah.
Written by Spike Jones.
So, yeah. Spy novels, I can recommend John le Carré and Alan First for sure. I haven't gone around to Tom Clancy yet. I'm a bit hesitant about him because, I don't know. Most of his stuff, the topics, like the more military stuff, kind of bore me in a way. I'm more interested in the political stuff.
I can understand that. And in some cases, his stories actually work better as games.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like, the Splinter Cell series was a fucking incredible experience, almost through and through, and the Rainbow Six games have always been pretty good. The only ones I can really say weren't good were, like, Hawks, which was their flight games.
Well, like...
And what else was there? Oh, yeah, there's the Ghost Recon series.
Yeah, but, like, after a while, most of the books were ghostwritten anyway, like, the later stuff.
Yeah.
And now they've just become Tom Clancy's whatever.
His brand.
Yeah, his brand. It's more about his brand. You know what? I might give Hunt for Red October a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'd recommend John le Carré, Alan First, there's another spy series I saw. It's written by a woman, and it's set in pre-World War II Germany, and it's about an actress spying for the Brits, and she's sort of moving around these upper echelon cliques of the German high command and all that, and that looks interesting.